Blog Talk Radio.
Well, hello and welcome to the Divas That Care Network. My name is Candace Gish and I am the founder of the Divas That Care. Well, I'm so excited that each and every one of you has tuned into today's program. I have an amazing guest. I'm actually going to be welcoming her. She is brand new to our program and we want to welcome her to our family. For any of you that have just tuned in for the very first time, welcome. We have been doing this program now for 10 years. This is our 10th year in 2020, and we're really excited. We've been able to interview women from around the world and who are making a commitment. They're wanting to make the world a better place. This year, we'll be having 20 hosts on the Divas That Care Network, and we're really excited about that. So make sure that you tune into them at the divasthatcare.com website. And just to let you guys know, for the ones that have been tuning in, our platform has changed quite a bit. So when you go into our website at the end of this week, it's going to be completely new. So I hope you enjoyed that. And for any of you that are following our anthologies, our Young Divas That Care book does come out this Thursday. So we're really excited about that. And I hope that you pick it up and know that all the proceeds to all of those go to different charities for young girls and women out there. So let's get started, everybody. As I said, we have a brand new diva that we're going to be welcoming to our family today. And I'm excited. Just like you, I'm going to be getting to know her also. But what I've had the opportunity to do is to go through her website. And I really love that, what she's doing. A lot of you know that I have a background. I grew up on a farm and we grew up with horses. And this amazing woman is doing a lot with animals out there. So welcome to our show, Sydney Knott.
Thank you, Candace. I'm excited to be here with you guys.
Well, we're so excited to have you. Sydney, would you mind spending a few moments just, telling us who you are?
Well, you know what? I am also recovering from a cold, so forgive me. I am a mom with 3 daughters. They're all grown adults now. But at the very foundation, being a career public relations professional, I look in my community and I see where we can do things better. And we call it building a better mousetrap. But, growing up as a young girl and loving horses are expensive. And I just decided that I wanted to make horseback riding affordable for my children and affordable for those children whose parents put a uniform on every day and serve community and country. And so I am, like I said, I'm a mother with 3 children. I'm a public relations professional. And I'm a woman who decided that we could do this better, that we could find a way to make horses more accessible and affordable for those who want to be able to experience the wonderful magic of horses.
Oh, I love it. And I know what being around an animal, being around a horse really does to a person. And I'm excited because I actually miss my horses. I don't have any horses right now. And I think about them all the time, but I remember those childhood memories, and I really enjoy and I love what you're doing right here. So can you tell us a little about Horses4Heroes and what is exactly that you guys are doing?
So Horses4Heroes is a nonprofit organization. It's based here in Las Vegas. We have affiliates throughout the country, which are like-minded barns that agree with us that, horses should be affordable and accessible. And we are basically, as I like to call it, a YMCA with horses. It is a place where families and adults and children can come and learn all about horses, horse care, and horsemanship. We have camps, lessons, birthday parties. Yesterday was Martin Luther King Day. We had over 40 children coming out, spending the day with us, just having a great time. And getting outside in the fresh air, connecting with other people, making new friends. And you know what? They did it all without technology. There was no Facebook, no social media, no internet. They all just spent the entire day unplugged, believe it or not.
I love that. Because that's so true. Growing up, we didn't have any of that. And now that's all you see the kids doing. That's awesome.
It really is. And I'm always just, especially these last 10, 15 years, there's a lot of great things about Horses4Heroes and many takeaways. We can talk about the work we do for veterans and for all these people. But, at the foundation, we need to teach children, parents, young adults that you can talk to somebody without texting. You can make eye contact without Skyping. that you can make friends without Facebook. If we don't start getting real and getting touchy-feely with one another, I just don't know. I mean, it seems like you go to a dinner, you go to a restaurant, and 4 people are sitting around the table, and they're all on cell phones. Like, we used to, when I grew up, if you read the newspaper at the dinner table, that was a terrible, terrible thing. And, I was at the restaurant last night, and there was a 3-year-old with a cell phone in his hand watching a video. He couldn't even stand in line at Panda Express for 5 minutes without having technology. We have a society where more children are suicidal, more 7-year-olds have anxiety. Why does a 7-year-old have anxiety? I own 18 horses. I have anxiety. But we have to do things differently. And I love technology. You and I wouldn't be talking today were it not for technology. So there are many aspects of it. But for children, they need to spend time playing outdoors, reading books, playing games. Children today don't even know how to play cards. They don't know how to play pickup sticks. They don't know how to play Connect Four. We do giant Jenga, and they throw the blocks at each other. I'm very concerned about where we are going, and if we don't teach everybody these fundamentals of social behavior, I don't know where we're going.
I'm going to have to agree with you on that. It's always been something that gets brought up into our program every once in a while, and I completely agree. I look around and I see this, and that's definitely not the way that I want to bring up my children, but I see them also, and I have to make them aware that they need to put those devices away at certain times. So it is good to have a program like yours that people are going out there, they don't have the technology, they're not using it at that time, and they're really connecting with the horses. And I like that. You do a lot of rescuing of these horses, correct, that are part of this program?
Not really. I think of us, we do have some affiliates that might be rescues, but here in Las Vegas at our headquarters, we're more of a semi-retirement home. The horses that are donated to us, they are horses that can no longer turn a barrel, rope a cow, win a blue ribbon, jump a fence, but boy, they can still sure teach you all about horses and horseback riding. We are, at the very core, a beginning level lesson program, or a place where people can come for tune-ups or to get back into horses. So yes, in some respect, our horses might not be where they are today were it not for us, because they weren't wanted anymore, or not serviceable any longer by their owners. That's why hundreds of horses go to slaughter every week, because they get sold to auction, and then the kill buyers go buy them in auction pens. We have horses where somebody has died and the family has donated the horse. We have horses where somebody has had financial difficulties. Horses are very expensive. For all of our desire to make horseback riding affordable, there's no way to make horse ownership affordable. So it's a very expensive program that we operate. Yeah. One of the really cool things, too, about horses is that, and I know you know this as well, there is absolutely nothing technological about a horse. You might be able to watch, a lesson on YouTube or something, but that's it. Everything that we do with the horse, from picking out their feet, brushing, grooming, saddling, is exactly the same way they've done for hundreds and hundreds of years, probably even thousands of years. And it's kind of cool in this fast-paced world that we live in that's ever-changing to have something in our lives that we can share with our children and with others that is exactly the way that our grandfathers did it, our grandmothers, their grandfathers. Not a lot of things left in our society. I read the other day that the circus is going away, which we can talk about that all day long, but I personally love Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. I love taking my kids there, but it's just something that's going away. I read that millennials are no longer buying china and eating on beautiful china plates, and so the china industry is at risk. These are sad things, but things that are outside our control. But the cool thing about horses is there's no app, there's no digital, there's no fast-forward button. You've got to put in the time, learn the craft, and if you want the horse to respond to you the way that you want them to respond, you have to put in the time. Have to have patience, dedication, and discipline, And those are things that a lot of us are lacking in our life.
I love that. And I just want to go back because you had mentioned earlier about anxiety. And, this is one of the things I always share is that I'm so thankful for having the horses when I was a teenage girl, having them and not having to deal with that, going out there after school every day and brushing my horses and just spending the time with them and decompressing. I really,
Yes.
for myself, I spent a lot of time with my animals, even just walking with them in the field and relaxing. And those are the best memories that I have from, those years is just having those moments and enjoying life.
Well, I'm sure you remember as well that having, especially for my daughters as well, going through the teenage years, having a horse, whether it's your horse or a friend's horse or a facility like ours where, we have 18 horses you can love on, those kids don't get bullied. And if they do have children in their school that are causing them difficulties, they have a whole different approach to them because really they have a 1,000-pound friend that thinks they're the business. And what do they care about
Yeah.
this mean girl or boy that's saying, snarky things to them when they can go home after school and tell their 1,000-pound friend, who will just love them unconditionally. And my horses got my girls through some tough days. But you see the children that have horses in their life or similar activities that are very empowering are rarely bullied and rarely worried about the thoughts of other children and what other people think about them. They're very confident, very secure, and we also have a program that's wonderful for people with anxiety or who have experienced a loss, especially for first responders. And it may sound trivial, but hug a horse. There's something about putting your arms around the neck of a horse. They're very large. They're not like a dog or a cat. You throw your arms around the neck of a horse and give them a hug. If somebody you love in your life that passed before you got there, or you're a first responder that wasn't able to save somebody, or you had just whatever difficulty you're facing, when you throw your arms around the neck of that horse and give them a hug, it's like saying goodbye or hello to a loved one that you're missing in your life. It's very, very powerful. There's so many aspects of a horse that just being around them, being with them, mucking their stall is a big adrenaline rush and endorphins. A lot of the veterans that we work with, they just need that change of pace. They need a place to go where they're going to be loved unconditionally, where they're not going to be judged. A lot of people in society, we're judging people on their appearance or on this or that. Horses don't do that. And so to be able to come out and enjoy the time and be loved unconditionally and not be judged for where you've been or what you've done, it's very, very powerful.
Yes, it is. I love that. So let's dive into something else. Tell me about your virtual barn. I think that is a really neat thing that you guys are doing.
I'm sorry, about what?
Your virtual barn.
Oh, the virtual barn. Well, again, here in Las Vegas, we have 18 horses and miniature horses. We want people all around the country and all around the world to be able to support our headquarters and flagship facility. We are the only equine national nonprofit, Candace, that owns its own horses. Name any other alphabet nonprofit that is a horse generator, and they do not have a barn with their own horses in it. We are the only one. And so to support our headquarters operation, to support the horses here and even the horses at our affiliates, we want you to go to the virtual barn, learn a little bit about each of the horses' backstories, and donate for that horse, whether it's, $5, $10, $20, $250 pays for the cost of one horse for 1 month. But, hay here in Las Vegas, alfalfa is running about, $15 a bale. Our feed costs run about $400 every 5 or 6 days. Hay doesn't grow on trees, neither does money. And we need all the help we can get so that we can we want to keep our price points as low as possible, and we want to be able to do as much free stuff as we can. About a third of what we do is free for veterans, for victims, for teenagers, recovering addicts, and anybody else that needs a little horsepower in their lives.
What a great program that is. And are you guys open up 7 days a week then?
We're open here in Las Vegas Tuesday through Sunday, unless we're doing a camp or event on Monday. We have specific hours. We mostly are open doing riding lessons. Anybody can join Horses for Heroes here or anywhere around the country and go to our affiliates, and they will offer their services at a discount, whether it's lessons or camps or volunteering. Of course, all horse barns are in need of volunteers, whether it's somebody that is trained around horses or somebody that can just answer questions or take people on a tour. We've had 2 volunteer training sessions this month. Each one was attended by over 40 people, so very, very exciting that people really want to get out and help and spend time helping others. But we have a thing called Open Barn, where people who are members here in Las Vegas can come out to the ranch every Saturday and Sunday between 10 and 2 and see the horses and the farm animals. We also have goats and a pig and cow and llama and just lots of fun. You know, there's not a lot of places in urban areas where you can just go and hang out with goats and llamas, and we want to be that place.
I love that. It sounds like so much fun. So tell me, you mentioned the affiliate program. How does a person become an affiliate with Horses for Heroes?
If you are a facility, you have your own horses, and you are, and like I said, some of our facilities are rescues, but if you are a therapeutic riding facility, a lesson barn, a boarding facility, and you want to be part of our network, you can join on our website, horsesforheroes.org. There is no charge. And we just ask that you provide your services for less to the people that are members. I don't dictate what that less means. That's ultimately between you and your customer. But we're trying to get more customers through your barn doors. And we think we found a pretty cool way to do it. You know, there are millions of active duty service members, veterans, firefighters, police officers, school teachers, and nurses in communities throughout the country. And I'll tell you, and anybody who's interested, they are the best customers that will ever walk in your door. Who wouldn't want to have a barn full of police officers and their kids riding your horses, right? You know, and they are wonderful customers and clients. They are serving our community, but they understand the ethic of putting time in and working. If their child gets, stepped on by a horse, they tell the kid to get right back out there. They're not helicopter parents that are, so worried about their kids. You know, they understand the dangers that their job is, and they understand that for their children, if you're well prepared, if you have good skills, if you have good training, you'll do all right.
That is perfect, and exactly. And one of the things that your amazing organization does is that you feature these affiliate barns, the people that are involved, and you do a little bit of a write-up on them. And what a great way to, advertise your facility at the same time, as you were mentioning.
Well, we want to do that. We also want to do that with like a volunteer of the month and a member of the month. We want to make that a more active part of our website. I appreciate that you noticed that. But we do have some amazing affiliates. Victory Riding Academy in Omaha. They have a major military base. Offutt is in proximity to their facility, and great law enforcement community and firefighters. And they have really embraced Horses for Heroes. They are their own nonprofit, their own standalone facility. As we require all facilities, they have to be insured. They have to be in compliance with whatever local rules are governing equine facilities, and they have to have safe and sane and sound horses. Other than that, like I said, the facilities that have really jumped on board have seen an uptick in their business, in their volunteers, and their members, and they've just really been gratified because it is a great group of people that come out to their ranch.
I'm just in awe with all the stuff that you're doing and how you're really getting people to be a part of things. Is there other things that you would love to share with us today? Is there anything else that we haven't talked about today that you would love to talk about?
There's so many aspects of what we do, whether it's for the veterans or the victims. The main thing is that we need to get people to the horses. For example, Candace, as we've heard about, and it's a true statistic, there are an average of 22 veterans committing suicide, or the average of a veteran committing suicide every 22 minutes. Okay, you could say 18 minutes. It's too many. It's too many. And
way too many.
There's a lot of reasons for that. I get frustrated with organizations, forgive me, like the VA, that puts a lot of roadblocks in our way to get veterans to our organization. My take on this is thus. We have a serious problem in our country. Veterans, we spend $1.5 billion in this country on our foster care system, of which 80% of the children who age out of the foster care system will end up pregnant, incarcerated, or homeless. 80%. So we spend $1.5 billion on the foster care system, and yet 80% are going to end up pregnant, incarcerated, or homeless. That's a failure. And government leaders, community leaders, to me, you need to look at everything. You need to put everything on the table. If I was dealing with and scratching my head like they do in Washington about how are we going to combat veteran suicide, I would put everything on the table. I would not put roadblocks in front of organizations like mine that have curriculum-based, research-based programs that work. We may not be all fancy like some of these other more accepted forms of therapy, but we know from national studies that time spent with horses makes your anxiety come down. It makes you feel calmer. It makes you feel more centered. It makes you feel loved. It gives you a sense of place and purpose, so you have a reason to live. Why they have to give these veterans a menu of hot dogs when they could give them hot dogs, hamburgers, eggs, and bacon? Let them choose. Don't put so many roadblocks in front of organizations like ours that have the personnel, that have the facilities, that have the track record, but maybe we don't have all of the certifications that they want to see. Who cares? People have been riding horses for thousands of years without certification. That's my big thing, is we need to get more people to these ranches, victims, trafficking, foster kids, you name it, just everyday teens that are stuck with tablets stuck to their face. We need to have people just say, let's go out to the ranch and give it a try. And we need to not put roadblocks in front of these organizations, because it's the horses that make the difference. And we need to get more people connecting with horses.
That is completely correct. And I love what you just said. Sydney, can they message you on your website to get information about facilities that are in their area then?
They certainly can. And we can also, if they are in an area where we don't have anything, I can go to work and get something. It doesn't, being a public relations professional, I know how to work a community, call the local veterinarians, call the tax stores, talk to various people in town. That's how we grew the network to where it is today, just by word of mouth, putting the word out, and just calling local trainers and saying, I'm looking for a family-friendly equine facility that I can send a really great family to. So by all means, you can email us from the website. You can message us on Facebook. We've got 3 Facebook pages, including Horses4Heroes USA. And by all means, wherever you live, if there's a horse ranch in your area, whether they're part of our organization or not, knock on their door and see if they need help, because I guarantee you this is a 7-day-a-week, 24-hour-a-day job for these farm owners, and they need a chance to be able to put their feet up as well. And so if you can knock on their door and say, hey, I'm going to fill your waters today, I'm going to muck your stalls today, or I'm going to help around the ranch, so that you can sit inside with your family and take a few hours off. That is something that most farm owners and ranch owners never get. If you live anywhere near a horse facility, knock on their door and tell them that you want to help.
You know what? I love that. I've never heard anybody say that, and I am going to mention that to as many people as I can. And Sydney, I had such a great time. I want to support you with the Divas That Care and the stuff that you are doing. We are going to put your organization out there in as many of our social media links as we can and really support the endeavors that you're doing, because I love what you're doing. And it's just amazing. So thank you so much for everything that you're doing. And as I said, we're going to support you in any way that we can and get the word out there.
Oh, I appreciate it, Candace. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Well, I had a great time, and, I know all of our listeners did, and I want to thank each and every one of you. This is a really important call. The things that Sydney is doing is extremely important to the people around us, the organization, and, a lot of you understand that my passion for animals and the things that that are really important to me. And I'm kind of emotional because I'm just thinking about so many people that I know have been affected by being with animals. And organizations like Sydney's are fantastic, and they are doing so many great things. And I think that we need to support them in any way that we can. So I'm going to be supporting her organization in as many ways as I can. And so I'm going to be doing that. So thank you all for tuning into today's program. Please take this recorded program and send it to your friends and family. Share the vision. Share what Sydney is doing and what she's trying to do. If you are an organization or a farm that wants to get involved in something like this, please contact her. I'm going to be posting that information, and please make those connections if you can. Thank you, Sydney. Thank you to our listeners. The Divas That Care really appreciate all your support. And make sure you check out all of our calls at divasthatcare.com. And until next time, have a great 2020. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.